Welcome, Smite fans, to week number 2 of the third split of the Smite Oceania Pro League. Already, we see some crazy results. Last week, Team Pandemonium took down Legacy Esports, and in the first game where they played, Legacy got no kills. Now we see Legacy up against Avant, who took down Team Pandemonium at LAN, and actually took down Legacy at LAN as well. So this is perhaps a little bit of a revenge game for Legacy Esports. Legacy unable to win even a single game against Avant at LAN. I'm Husey. Joining me on the broadcast desk for this game is going to be Alpha Jackal. Alpha, how are things going across the pond?
They're going okay. There's been lightning, there's been thunder, there's been all sorts of things over here,
So
and
it's summer.
yeah, it's typical British summer. Obviously, it's just constant rain. What was I to expect? But and going into this game, I'm very excited to see exactly what's going to happen in the solo lane. Just confirmed on Twitter a couple minutes ago is that Only Good at Solo is going to be playing in the solo lane and Shred in the jungle. So a bit of a role swap there for Legacy, and Only Good at Solo's first matchup is going to be against El Chuckles, who absolutely bodied last week's games against Aspira.
I'm just happy Only Good at Solo is back finally playing in the solo lane, so his name actually makes sense again. Shred has
Yeah.
played jungle before as well. He played it in Split 1 for Tainted Minds and did decently well for them there. In fact, they took Team Pandemonium to Game 5 at LAN, and they were the number 2 seed team all split, so we'll have to see if he can replicate his success there. So we're going to go ahead and get started with picks and bans in just a second, see what Legacy and Avant can pull out for us here in week number 2. So Avant actually has a double week this week. They're going to be playing against Legacy today, and then tomorrow they're going to be playing up against old rivals Alpha Sydney. So it'll be very interesting to see if what happens in today's games will affect tomorrow's games. But for now, let's focus on the picks and bans. First ban is with Legacy. They're going to go ahead and take away that Susano 88% ban rate. Something that's not there is that he's actually been picked or banned in every single game. In every game he's been picked in, he's won. So Legacy Esports wisely taking that option away from Avant Garde.
Well, it's such a high pressure early game jungler that it could give you so much momentum to put forward into that mid game where you start to be able to take objectives, where you start to group up and take down those towers. And it's just such a power pick that I'm surprised Legacy were the ones that were going to ban it. I would have thought Avant Garde were going to be the ones to ban it. Instead, they're going to ban away the Freya. Legacy going to ban away the Terra. Again, it's a bit suspect to see the first team ban that away. Nemesis taken off the table by Avant Garde. Fafnir available?
Fafnir is available for Legacy to take it first up, or possibly if Legacy want to go something like a Ratatoska here at the start, or a Raijin. So you can see Raijin there, 100% win rate in all the games that he's played in, only 13% of matches. So a strong mid laner there for Agony, which is really important to Legacy's success, is being able to get off a successful mid-jungle combo with Shred just going back into the jungle for this game. It's going to be important that Agony is on something that can really get a lot of pressure in the wave, so we can rotate with Shred and build up some of that chemistry. Raven and Fafnir now picked up for Avant Garde. So Raven's something for Chuckles in the solo lane that he can, dominate the lane with. High pick percentage, high win percentage for that. Fafnir as well picked up for Avant for Gruff.
And El Chuckles last week played Ravana twice and was absolutely devastating and just was a complete powerhouse in that solo lane. So having that again, gonna be very scary for Only Good at Solo to go up against in his return to the solo lane. Instead, he's gonna pick up Erlong Shen to try and fight fire with basic attack aggression in the early game, and then Neath just to try and keep everybody on the map safe coming out from that ADC position from HS247. It'll be very easy for them to set up ganks, very easy for them to set up kills with that Woolweaver ultimate.
So Thor picked up now for Avant. They're going to go ahead and ban away the Hunbats from Shred. The Thor pick for Liquid Renegade has been pretty mixed results last split. Towards the end of the split, he started winning some games, but at the start, really struggled to get off his combos effectively and hit his abilities. But more importantly, was his farm that was really suffering when playing on this Thor. Jingwei now banned away by Legacy Esports as a target ban towards Rob Diggity, one of his favorite hunters to play. Ratatoska banned by Avant Garde, so very clearly they're targeting Shred.
And I was thinking maybe we could potentially see a return of Huyi. Yes, he's been nerfed quite dramatically in the past 2 weeks, but Rob Diggity and HS247 last split proved that they have incredibly high proficiency on that god. And with Jingwei and Kronos being taken off the table, Neath also being picked up by Legacy Esports, don't really want to fight into that too much in the early game, so getting a mid-game / late-game hunter like Huyi, and there it is, going to be picked up by Rob Diggity, it's going to make a good matchup for Avant Garde. They're going to give up a bit of pressure in the early game of the solo in the ADC position, but during the mid-game, the duo lane can really start to punish this Neath pick.
You can see as well there how much Hoyi's nerf has really affected his priority. 0% pick percentage throughout this split, despite last split being the most picked god in all of OCE, and in fact, the most winningest god as well. Barkas and Naja picked up here for Legacy Esports, so the Barkas is definitely a comfort pick for Weave. The Naja is something for Shred that he can get a lot of setup off of and can do a high amount of damage. We saw how proficient Ro was at that against Legacy Esports last week. Giannis now picked up for iDivine in the mid lane, so a lot of mobility. Combining that Giannis with the Thor, they should be able to, they've got a lot of global presence compared to Legacy Esports, who's really only their global presence at all is the Neath Worldweaver Ultimate, and that's not the greatest of things to come out of the duo lane. It can reach the mid lane pretty quickly, but if you're trying to affect stuff on the solo side of the map, it's a very, very long duration for that ultimate to hit its target.
So we're going to quickly hop right into the game. Legacy Esports going to be on the blue side, and Avant on the red, and we've already been forced to take his flop and get away as Rob Diggity and iDivine looking to try and get some nice poke up and already getting a ricochet onto HS247.
So some nice poke here at the start, not going to influence the game too much at this stage, but we do have a pause here quickly coming out of Legacy Esports, but yeah, so looking at the lane matchup between Avant-Garde and Legacy, you know, the Neath provides a lot of push with her Spirit Arrow. The Hou-Yi has got some decent push with the Ricochet. It's been buffed a little bit to have a little bit more base damage, so at the early levels, it's going to be doing a little bit more in terms of lane clear. However, the percent increase you get off the Ricochet itself has been nerfed, so straight up, it's going to be a little bit more powerful, a little bit more of a wave pressure tool, but the ricochets themselves, the later in the game this goes, the less effective it's going to be.
So you got another pulse coming out from Legacy. Shred, unfortunately DC, but he has reconnected, so the game should be getting underway any second now, and there it is. But I'm going to look at the jungle right now, and both junglers, looking right again in Shred, have picked up Wrath. We saw this from Ro last week, and he just got so much pressure, so much dominance, and so much objective control with this relic that was basically possible to fight into him, despite the fact he didn't have purification. And now both junglers in this game are going to be looking to try and get that objective pressure relic.
I really like it on the floor because he's very good at either invading, which is Avant-Garde doesn't look like they want to do. They're looking like they're trying to counter the game, but it's very good at steals as well because you can go in there with your Mjolnir's attunement and steal, or you can walk in, steal, and then Mjolnir's attunement out and get yourself to safety, or you use your ultimate to get yourself to safety. So a nice little kind of mobile strike kind of thing to get in there and steal away buffs or secure objectives.
I like Avant-Garde's comp for its mobility, but what they do bring in terms of mobility, they sort of lack in terms of damage during this early game, where they, whilst on the side of Legacy, they have quite a bit in this early game with the Bacchus, Raijin, and Najal combination. Can really lock down a target and get very easy single kill confirmed in the mid game.
Look at Renegade and Shred almost sync there as they're rotating towards the early. Look at Renegade actually caught out between Only Good at Solo and Shred with the Armillary Sash, manages to get himself to safety with that Hammer iDivine, not rotating over, put a portal through, but chose to stay in the mid lane. Early camps fall to Legacy Esports.
Liquid's got to be very careful here. If he gets spotted out by Shred or Agony, they're just going to go straight onto him and look to try and kill him, because he is half HP and does not have purification. So it will be a very easy kill. Oh, back over in solo lane though. A bit of a fight going on between El Chuckles and Only Good at Solo. Just clearing out the waves. Only Good at Solo got a lot of pressure, and his minis is still there, and El Chuckles could be in trouble here.
He's already under 50% HP. There's his overhead, so he doesn't have the damage immunity frames or the CC immunity for another 15 seconds. So really needs to be careful fighting into this next wave. Does have his 10-handed Shadow Fist to give himself some regeneration and to root the enemies down, but he's taking a lot of damage here from Only Good at Solo. The Archers combined with the Erlang Shen to get the first blood. A solo kill for Only Good at Solo on El Chuckles, who really bodied Legacy at lane and dominated the lane last week. Someone coming fresh back to the solo lane. Impressive feat from Only Good at Solo.
Welcome back to the solo lane. Only Good at Solo. El Chuckles, you've got to find a response, and soon, when you're on a very comfortable, very dominant god like Robin and you die early on. That's a very bad side of things to come. It needs to make sure that that doesn't happen again, and he's the one getting the solo kill next time.
Still taking more damage here from Only Good at Solo. Pretty under 50% HP. Only Good at Solo has reached level 5. Guess there's the taunt in from the Erlang Shen, doing so much damage here with the overhead kick. It's going to enable El Chuckles to get to safety. Only Good at Solo getting a lot of just damage down onto El Chuckles, with Chuckles unable really to respond.
Yeah, and that's really the power of the spot weakness coming out from Erlang Shen. Yes, he also gets to pay Tala's passive going on to his basic attacks, and it also gives him a lot more power on his base attack. So you see it again onto El Chuckles, just so much damage. He's actually going to dive down. He's going to get a second solo kill straight back from base and sending El Chuckles back to his.
So this is definitely a great start for Legacy. At LAN, El Chocos was the MVP, was able to get a lot of pressure out in the solo lane onto opponents that just couldn't handle the pressure he put out or were unable to find any kind of wave pressure whatsoever. By taking him out of the game, by getting 2 early kills on him, dominating the lane, Only Good at Solo is not only ensuring that he can rotate into key fights and contribute earlier in the game than usual, but it means El Chocos is not going to be able to do the same.
It also means that Shred doesn't really have to pay too much attention to this right-hand side of the map, can focus his efforts on this left-hand side, and really start to put the pressure onto Rob Diggity and Gruff. Because Gruff, he's playing a momentum-based support as Anthony Ego's Liquid Renegade is crashing down onto Agony, but in response, Shred's going to take up Gruff.
Gruff transforming into the Draconic form now. Through space and time from Ardivine, lands onto Agony, gets him there with the Unstable Vortex. Gruff diving in onto Shred, who's taken a lot of damage here, but a good Intoxicate from Weave takes Gruff very low as well. World Weaver comes through, slams into the Dragon. Shred carting around everywhere. Good stun from Weave. Shred, though, it does inevitably fall down. Knock up onto Liquid Renegade. Just looking for the final kill here onto the jungler from Avant-Garde, but not going to find it. Still going, however, looking for something else here. Gruff misses the stun, and Avant-Garde disengage beautifully.
2 kills out of nowhere for Avant-Garde, and it was all really down to the initiation from Liquid Renegade and the over-aggression from Legacy when they were looking to invade onto that red buff, which has already been taken.
Ready, mid lane here, so we hit about 4.5 minutes into the game. 2-2 read the scoreline. Not much in this game. The experience, though, stacked pretty heavily in favor of Legacy already at about 2,000.
And most of that experience difference is coming out of that solo lane, but there's a 2-level difference in favor of Only Good at Solo. You can see there's also just shy of a 1,000 gold disparity there as well. So Legacy, they've got to look at getting Only Good at Solo from that solo lane into these team fights in the mid game. The second he starts to rotate, the second he starts to be an influence and a factor in the mid lane, that's when you really start to see this experience and gold difference shine for Legacy.
Renegade's hunting around the right-hand side mid tier, placing a ward down. Could potentially look for a steal onto the blue buff here, but thinks a little bit better of it. He's just rotating through the jungle, trying to get timers on whatever he can. Misses out on a bit of experience from the mid wave, but he's not going to worry about that too much. He's a little bit behind Shred, especially we can see some damage going down to Only Good at Solo in the solo lane from El Chuckles. So Chuckles hasn't taken those 2 early kills to heart. However, the gold disadvantage is significant. 800 between El Chuckles and Only Good at Solo.
But Shred's caught between a rock and a hard place. He's going to miss the whip by Wheels in the mid lane as well. It's caught very hard by Avant-Garde, but there's going to be a counter initiation from Legacy.
Liquid Renegade is up in the sky looking for a target to down, and in fact is going to go onto his tier 2 tower. And that wasn't actually a missed ultimate by Shred. He actually used it to dash away between all the members of Avant-Garde and essentially bait around waiting for the rest of his team.
I think with the rotation coming out from Agony and Weave, that was a missed ultimate. He wanted to hit it, but I could kind of see the benefit in not hitting it. But the Gold Fury, that's certainly a benefit that they want to take. Ardivine force usage through space and time, and that's the disengage from Legacy.
That's a big team fighting ultimate, and as well as a big transport ultimate down for Avant-Garde. And so Legacy will definitely be taking note of that. They'll be able to exert a little bit more pressure into these side lanes now. We should see Shred rotate to either the left or right-hand side to pick a target and do some damage. Probably the right-hand side. The left-hand side is holding its own, and he just wants to, he might want to put just even more pressure onto El Chuckles and help out Only Good at Solo.
So this is a bit of a different build coming up from Only Good at Solo. Usually we see a Breastplate of Valor come out, or maybe a Hide of Anemian Blind if you're going against a very auto-attack based warrior. But instead he's going to go into the Void Shield. This is mostly a jungler assassin based item. Potentially Only Good at Solo is going to be playing this
Look at him,
that style, and he's going to go Diving Tower and get a 3rd solo kill.
There you go, that's why you got the power, got protection reduction on that as well. Liquid Renegade went through, walls in Only Good at Solo. There's no minions here for Only Good at Solo. He takes a tower shot, but he should be fine for now. Used his ultimate previously onto El Chuckle, so he doesn't have any heal available either, but still doing a lot of damage here. And Liquid Renegade can't really contest this tower at all.
I think we see why El Chuckles is really getting bullied in this. Like, just look at the damage that Only Good at Solo put onto Liquid Renegade and how tanky he was in doing so. It's very difficult to deal with, even as a lane bully like Robin. But over on this left-hand side, again, the Goldfield is going to be started up here by Legacy, but Gruff knows about this. He's going to call in reinforcements.
Gold Fury dropped by Legacy Esports. And we haven't talked too much about the left-hand side of the game thus far. It's just been a bit of a farm fest over there between HS247 and Rob Diggity. Both of them going different builds. Rob Diggity seeming to prefer this Death Toll into Iqbal route for the Hou-Yi. HS has gone into a Transcendence route as it's pretty much the standard on Neath. You don't ever really need to deviate from that path.
I've seen a couple people build Death Toll into Devoure's Gauntlets. It delays your power spike a bit, but it gives you a bit more early game boxing potential. But yes, the Transcendence, because you want as much power as possible on those early game abilities. But for the Hou-Yi, a lot of attacks be coming out already. 50% from the Iqbal and Ninja Tabai combined. And that's really going to help alleviate his low base attack speed. Only going to solo, starting to make his rotations, and it's going to receive a double tap for that favor.
You know, as much as we praise Only Got a Solo for getting this Void Shield, it could legitimately have been a mistake because he's so used to playing jungle, he's just default gone into that Void Shield and left base. He's like, oh wait, I'm not jungle anymore, I'm solo lane, aren't I?
Well,
I'm not saying that's what happened.
Yeah, it could be, but
it could be.
I think it's a good pickup. It's a nice item to try and go ahead and snowball a bit with. Avant got destroyed this Gold Fury. They managed to sneak it onto the noses of Legacy, but HS247 are going to kill this Liquid Renegade. I'd fine in a bit of trouble as Shred gets the beads and he gets the ultimate off, and that's going to be one dead Yanis.
That's 2 kills in exchange for the Gold Fury there. At this stage of the game, actually not really that worth it for Avant Garde. Like, they took down Legacy's gold advantage a little bit, but not enough to really make a significant difference. And if Legacy gets this tower, it's definitely a negative trade for Avant. They've lost El Shockers. They could lose Rob Diggity here. So already, things starting to work out for Legacy. Middle tier 1 tower, already 50% HP with HS, Weave, and Agony dealing damage to this. And Only Got a Solo zoning away Gruff. They should be able to get this one pretty cleanly. They do so. So yeah, that Gold Fury definitely not worth from Avant Garde.
And they're going to lose quite a lot of objective pressure as well from that mid tower being taken down. And the mid tower is such a key factor in games. It's a base, it's a hub where you can defend the rest of the map from incredibly easily. You can be there, you can be safe as a mid laner, you can farm up aggressively. Without that there, iDevice is going to be much more careful with his positioning. Liquid Renegade and Gruff have to be more careful on their rotations. Everyone on the entirety of Avant Garde has to be more careful, has to ward more effectively to make sure that they do not feel the loss of this mid tower.
Interesting build out from Artivine. He's gone into the Shoes of Focus first, recently buffed with some more magical power, so a decent item, but Pythagoras Piece, taking that here at the start for some lifesteal, some extra cooldown reduction, and actually a decent amount of power. It gives you 90 magical power, all told with the base power and the aura coming off of it. It also gives some magical lifesteal to his teammates, but really no one's going to be using it that much other than Gruff when he's in that Draconic ultimate form.
This is a nice item. It gives quite a lot of power for what you really are buying for, which is 2,400 gold. And it gives that 10% cooldown reduction. So far it's got 20%, and if he builds that Chronos Pendant, it's a full 40% cooldown Yanis. And back in Season 2, that was the stuff of nightmares to face. 40% CDI Yanis just portaling in and out of walls consistently, unstable vortexes on about a 5-second cooldown at most. It was just an absolute nightmare to deal with, and he may be looking to go into that again.
Which would make sense because his team comp strength really relies on a lot of rotations to try and out-rotate Legacy Esports. The more portals and thresholds, and even more through spaces and time he can be using, the better. Right-hand side mid-camps forward to Lexi. Good jump there by Weave. Ultimate comes through from HS247. Does hit Artivine and gets him to about 50% HP, but he had managed to make his way through a portal and avoids the follow-up damage from the rest of Legacy.
So speaking of what was buffed from before, Reinforced Shoes picked up by both supports now provides a stack of 5 physical and 5 magical protections up to 5 times every time you're damaged by an enemy god as Liquid Renegade goes up into the air and just escapes. Legacy putting a lot of pressure onto this right-hand side right now, maybe looking for this tier 1.
Well, they've definitely done their research. They know that El Chuckles has been a carry player for Avant Garde. They know that if he is allowed to run loose, he could cause a lot of problems for their teams, and he has done in the past. So by essentially neutralizing him out of this game, which is what they've done for the most part, they're putting themselves in a position to win, and they're taking full advantage of that fact.
Well, they're not going to be able to get the tower just yet. Rotation from Gruff and El Chuckles teleporting back in from base, as well as Liquid Renegade being in this side of the map, means that I don't think Legacy really want to fight into that.
Oh, look at Shred.
3.
Shred left-hand side, very sneakily got the beads from Rob Diggity there, and that allowed HS247 to get a lot of damage down to this tower. Idivine is here, though, and he's going to be able to prevent Shred and HS doing any more damage to the tower. So again, showcasing the strength of Avant's team comp. They're able to rotate to situations much more quickly than Legacy are.
They also have this nice semi-global ultimate coming out from the jungle. Liquid Renegade just going to avoid the sash there. Still not level 12, so still does not have purification. Shred has a free ultimate if he gets that sash onto Liquid Renegade. And with the positioning coming out from Legacy right now, there was easy follow-up going on to that kill if he hit that sash.
Not going to be able to do so. Gold Fury respawning in about 45 seconds here. Both teams should look to contest that one. Avant-Garde took the first one, but really it was a not quite a misplay from them. In taking the Gold Fury is never in itself really a misplay, but their positioning of it and what they traded for it definitely did not fall in their favor. Legacy, in fact, you can really say that's where a large part of Legacy's lead has been established from, has been from Avant taking that Gold Fury, and from there, Legacy took the mid tier 1 tower and got 4 kills off the back of it, and they've been able to roam around the map pretty much at will since then.
Well, there's been two factors in the lead coming out from Legacy. It's been only go solo, just manhandling El Chuckles in that solo lane, and it's been that Gold Fury into mid-tower push coming out from Legacy again. And both those factors have really just allowed them to get a bit of pressure that has made sure that they've got the kill advantage, that they've got the rotational advantage. And Avant-Garde's comp, they need to be ahead to really expose Legacy's lack of rotational ability, and have their rotational ability be, I don't know, what's the word? Exasperated? I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they need to be in the lead essentially, and they have not been able to do so from minute 1.
The good thing is that the good thing for Avant is that the lead isn't too pronounced. It's 2,000 experience, which fluctuates up and down per minute, and the gold is less than 1,000. So this game is by no means out of hand for Avant-Garde, but Legacy definitely got a really good team comp at this stage in the game. Whereas you mentioned it earlier in the game that Avant has got a bit more of a later game comp with that Janus.
And they also have a late game in that ADC from the Hui, who's still technically a hyper carry. I mean, that Mark of the Golden Crow, it doesn't do as much as it did before with the lack of 25% extra penetration, but it still means that you get stuns, still means that you get the knockup, still means you get slows, and it's still a massive boxing potential for anybody trying to face him. But over on this mid lane, looks like potentially engage coming out here from Avant-Garde, and Idivine's going to be the first one to die to weave.
Liquid Renegade up in the sky, looks for a target, uses Shred, spin twin onto the jungler from Legacy Esports, but he's stunned in place. Liquid Renegade, though, still gets himself a kill off the back of that one. Agony is here, and only got solo sprinting in. They're looking for the dragon, they're looking for Gruff. They knock him up, they root him in place, and Agony gets himself a kill. El Chuckles here now to help the rest of Avant-Garde, but to no avail. 2 of their members have already fallen down in exchange for 1 from Legacy, and now Legacy are looking at this Gold Fury. They want to be the ones to take it this time, or at least, so it seems, bait out a fight.
Yeah, they're trying to bait it up, but El Chuckles cleverly recognizes that this could be a bait, so walks over the wall from a safe distance and sees that they're not actually on the Gold Fury. Instead, they're looking for the fight, and it could be a second bait here. It's only going to solo looking on the zone GD, but Idivine, with the through space and time, is sending in reinforcements.
Gold Fury at about 50% HP or just above before Legacy drop it through space and time. Ultimate well placed from Idivine, not onto the Gold Fury itself, but giving a portal through to the pit itself. So if you aim straight for the Gold Fury itself, you can often, the last portal you can go through can often be a fair distance away. This time, though, it was enough for Avant-Garde to be able to get through, or at least have the threat of getting through and interrupting that Gold Fury dance.
Idivine goes through the right-hand side, gets those right side mid. Harpy's now looking for the speed, but only good at solo. Wants to fight, he wants to invade yet again, but he's not going to be able to do so. The rest of his team are just backing off. They're playing it smart, they're playing it safe right now at Legacy, because they recognize that Avant-Garde's team comp is starting to come online, that the damage is starting to come out from Idivine and Rob Diggity, and the CC potential from Gruff and Liquid Renegade and El Chuckles will be too much for them to handle at this stage.
And Legacy starting up the Gold Fury again, and Chuckles is on the other side of the map, is teleporting over here to this Gold Fury, which is at 50% HP. Agony looking to get some burst down. Gruff goes in, the suns come down from Rob Diggity. Legacy, though, are the ones that take the Gold Fury. Idivine take it very low here, forced to Sanctuary. Agony looking for Liquid Renegade, who dived on in the background there, but so much invested into that Thor, and he falls down eventually. And now Legacy Esports, they get a Gold Fury, they get a kill, and now they're pursuing Avant-Garde across the map.
One too many ultimates to use there on Liquid Renegade. Hench's 247 didn't really need to use a Whirlwind, but Shred blinking in, looking for Rob Diggity, but forces out the dive bomb instead. And Shred's actually not elected to go into any form of purification or any form of CC immunity. Just going to rely on his initiation ability. If he gets off his Windfire wheels, if he gets off a bit of damage and gets a kill, that's all he needs to do in a fight. He doesn't care after that. The blink will allow him to engage and get the first priority on whether he's going to be getting a kill or not.
17 minutes in the game, 9-3 reads the score. Graph's taken a sharp upswing. Legacy Esports, 5,600 experience difference, 3,400 the gold that has the boys in green in front of their LAN opponents, Avant Garde. So this is definitely a sharp contrast to what we saw at LAN. Avant Garde definitely dominated a Legacy in the semi-finals at the Split 2 finals, and Legacy found themselves knocked out of the finals due to that incredible performance from Avant Garde. But now Legacy, you know, they're back into their kind of form that we saw last split. They're, you know, doing very well here, getting efficient farming, getting a lot of damage out, taking objectives. And, you know, even when Avant Garde is taking the objective, Legacy's made them pay for it. So this is kind of the form we saw from them during the regular split last time. The big question, though, for Legacy is, will they be able to replicate that success at the Split 3 finals?
Well, Shred's going to look to try and do that, just that, as Little Chuckles got taken up into the sky. Look at the solo on the rotation, and they're forcing out the Mystic Rush already. And also there's really space and time, but it's going to be straight onto iDivine. It was a bait to try and get him over here to try and get the kill, but Shred under a lot of pressure already.
There's a great wall there from Liquid Renegade. Doesn't manage to land the double tap. Only got it solo, essentially fighting 3 members there. The World Weaver comes out but lands onto Gruff in place of iDivine. In the mid lane, Rob Diggity is getting surrounded by 3 members. On the right-hand side, though, 4 members of Avant Garde are here. They were looking to pressure the tower, but now they're looking for a fight. Weave taking some damage there from Gruff and iDivine. He's burping back. El Chuckles uses the overhead kick in order to immune himself from the stun. Rob Diggity fighting Agony here, who's getting bursted down by Gruff and Rob Diggity. Rough jumping over the wall. There's the Suns as well. A Purification and a Sanctuary Force from Agony. Rob Diggity taking some damage now as well. Liquid Renegade goes diving in between the towers, looking for Agony. It's not, in fact, going to find him there. The sash from Shred is good onto Liquid Renegade, and Liquid might find himself in some trouble here for his overextension. Shred diving after him, uses that Flaming Spear, trying to find the kill onto the jungler from Avant Garde. Only good at solo above the mid camp, gets Gruff. Nowhere for Liquid to run. Great sash, catches him in the middle of his teleportation, and Shred picks up the kill onto Liquid Renegade.
The sash only just came up as well, so that was an unfortunate timing for Liquid Renegade, and that's 2 kills for absolutely nothing there for Legacy. They could potentially bait this Fire Giant. They could definitely get this right tier 1, maybe even tier 2. If they get a couple more kills, or even 1 more kill, they can do the Fire Giant. This is dangerous territory for Avant Garde if they look to try and defend this objective.
They really can't, and importantly as well, the blue buff is being stolen away, and only got a solo. Really kept them away from the tower here. Shred takes up Rob Diggity into the air. He's going to come down into a world of hurt. Great knock up there from Weave. A Sanctuary from Rob Diggity keeps him alive for but a moment. iDivine falls down actually to Agony. World Weaver comes through and lands onto Rob Diggity. So another 2 members of Avant Garde have fallen down here. The right tier 1 tower has fallen down as well. Oh, Chuckles takes a lot of damage here. Has to be careful as there's 4 members of Legacy still around, as Only Good at Solo backs into base. He does have his teleport up. Does Only Good at Solo, so he could look to get back into this fight. Right-hand side tier 2 falls down as well. Legacy now a significantly 12,000 experience and 7,000 gold.
I just love the play from Shred there. He blinks over the Unstable Vortex and then just straight up ults Rob Diggity, taking him completely by surprise. Both his relics were down as well, so there was no escape for the Hunter. And that engaged, that very cheeky play to mitigate so much damage and take away a huge factor from the fight, meant that Legacy then got pretty much the right-hand side for free.
And now they have themselves a 10 kill advantage, as well as a huge gold and experience advantage as well. The Gold Fury, of which they took the last, is up in 30 seconds. Fire Giant is available, and currently Legacy have got control in the Fire Giant pit. I very much expect to see some pressure down the middle and left-hand side, and a pick or 2 from Legacy before they decide to go for that Fire Giant. But the pressure in the middle and the left-hand side lanes is definitely where Legacy need to be looking next.
Yeah, they definitely need to get some picks before they look to try and engage on this Fire Giant. They could possibly bait it right now, as El Chuckles might actually be getting baited right now, or at least iDivine is. He's already got the right on. If he gets anywhere near this fight, that's going to be Thunder Crash in from Agony and potential kill onto this Janus. Again, looking for an engage, looking for this fight on this right-hand side, instead grouping up for this mid-town, maybe even Gold Fury.
And the Gold Fury is where they're heading. Avant-Garde have been baited onto the right-hand side. And it looks like, actually, Avant looking to go and start the Fire Giant themselves, or bait, or at least make Legacy into think that they're going for this Fire Giant. In fact, Legacy, that's what they respond to, and that's a smart move there. You don't want to risk losing the Fire Giant and throwing your lead. And now, Legacy looking like they want to engage here. Gruff using that Draconic form. He's as the Dragon now, but he takes a lot of damage from Legacy. He's at about 75% HP, and then at the cost of no ultimates from the side of Legacy. That's an excellent move there from Legacy, forcing out that huge ultimate from Avant-Garde.
And that's a big win there for Legacy. They didn't have to expend any ultimates of themselves. All they had to do was just walk in and get a bit of CC onto Gruff, a bit of CC onto Rob Diggity. And that's an ultimate force. That's a win. Just back out, re-engage afterwards, because they do not have that big AoE coerce from Gruff to increase the damage tenfold. So they look to try and go onto Gruff once more, shred, and down goes the World Weaver ultimate. They're looking for this kill onto the support. If they can get him down, there's a massive front line taken away from the team.
Speed buff being taken away by Legacy here as well, so that's going to hamper a bit of Liquid Renegade's movement, mitigate a little bit of that global presence or semi-global presence that he has. Chuckles trying to do damage to Only Good a solo there, but barely scratches his surface. Blue buff being taken away now by Legacy, so really we can see that they're in the driver's seat. Legacy, they're taking everything away from Avant-Garde here and just preventing them from getting back into this game. iDivine, over on the left-hand side, is actually doing a little bit of split push, does have his ultimate available to get back to the fight, or at least get close to it, but Legacy, no, that's a huge chunk of Avant's damage away from them at the moment, and they could look to pressure down the mid-tier 2 tower.
They have to get something, because if they do not engage in this 5 versus 4 in their favor, oh, there goes a Blake ultimate. Yet again, Rob Diggity called out without a prayer in the world, without a hope in the world. HS247 gets the kill.
Now, Liquid Renegade taken very low as well, under his own tower. iDivine teleported back through, but forced to teleport straight away back out again by the damage coming out from Legacy. Agony taken low himself, but no one from Avant-Garde is around to deal any damage to him. HS247 just trying to get some poke down onto Liquid Renegade, does so successfully, and now the Thor must back away from the fight. iDivine teleports in, uses his threshold to get out, Only Got a Solo is chasing it down, but can't land the pin to lock him in place. Gruff taken it very low himself, actually. Weave jumps in, knocks up iDivine, and that's the mid-tier 2 tower gone. Legacy Esports dominating Avant-Garde in this contest.
Well, the rage quit is strong with Rob Diggity, who's unfortunately DC'd after he died. Legacy in a commanding position at this point. And if you had a look at the matches last week and how both teams performed, this was not expected at all. Legacy got manhandled, and I think that the fact that they got manhandled, they got beaten so comprehensively, just sparked a fire inside them, just sparked something from them to make sure, right, we need to perform again. We need to make sure that we are actually showing that we are a top 2 team in Oceania. And they've done it so far this game. Next game could be a different story, as Avant-Garde will need to be the ones responding, but Legacy so far looking good for that number 2 position.
I think I do like the role swap coming out of these guys. Only Good at solo, played very well at jungle last split, but I don't know, he's just back in the solo lane, he's doing so much work. Shred having a grand old time of it here in the jungle for Legacy as well. So, final judgment on that awaits the results at the end of the split, but for this game at least, it's working out for them.
Don't want to know the results, look away now, but the Gold Fury is going to be the thing that's going to be dying next. Legacy getting their second one of the game and just adding to the gold lead, adding to the potential destruction to come onto Avant-Garde's side as the gold experience difference goes up to 12,000, gold goes up to 9,000. It's approaching that 10,000 threshold where you have to say, we can't fight into this anymore, let's just get out of this game and go into the next one.
So I'm looking at iDivine. He does have enough to get a Chronos Pendant here, but hasn't backed it. So that leads me to believe that rather than going for the Chronos Pendant here, he's waiting to save up for the Rod of Tahuti. Once he gets that online, he's very much approaching that stage where he can one-shot people. Once you got a Soul Reaver online, obviously that's just one-shot heaven. We saw MLC Stealth do that with his Janus. We've seen it time and time before, in OCE ourselves with people like Ochita, but with the Rod of Tahuti, that means his Janus is going to be doing a lot of damage. The magical defense isn't as strong on the side of Legacy as the physical protection is, and so iDivine, we saw him split push on the left-hand side before. Can't afford to do that anymore. He needs to group up with his team and get his damage off, because at the moment, the physical damage for his team just isn't cutting it. If you look at the damage scores, only El Chuckles is in the top 5 of player damage. Everyone else on Avant-Garde is the bottom 4 damages, behind even Weave on the side of Legacy.
And that's surprisingly coming out from early game damage dealers like Thor and Raven to see them so low on the damage charts. But Gruff going to be engaged on once again. They're looking for support yet again But really, it shouldn't be the supports that they're looking for. They should be looking for the junglers. They're the priority picks right now. And up in the air goes Shred once again, looking for Liquid Renegade. And there we go. The jungler has been picked off. There is no Wrath on the side of Avant.
Divine trying to deal some damage, but can't do so. Gruff immuning some damage, going into the Draconic form, and now he jumps away. Only good at solo, diving the backline here, looking for Divine, doing a lot of damage here. A good root from Chuckles keeps him alive for now. Agony teleporting in very aggressively here. Down come the summons from Rogue Diggity, but it's not enough to stem the tide that is Legacy Esports. And now they are turning their attention towards the buffs and the Fire Giant. One thing I do have to say about that last engagement, Alpha, is that a lot was invested there into Liquid Renegade. We had the Raijin ult, we had the Neath ult, we had the Najar ult. And Legacy, they really don't need to invest that much into it. I know they want to secure the kill, but against higher skill opponents, that kind of stuff can really detriment them.
No, but it's the only person they could really invest on that much onto and be happy with it, because he was the one with Wrath, and they're going to body blood the portal. Divine going to get taken out completely there. But I'm going to ask you a question. What's better than a 5-second 40% speed increase?
A 10-second, 5-second, 40% movement increase?
A 7.5 second 40% movement speed increase. Ritual Dagger being picked up by Oligan Solo. And Wi-Fi Will's going to be immune there. Rough trying to get away. Liquid Renegade come crashing down. And Shred's in a bit of trouble here. But HS247 going to make sure that Thor is not a factor in this fight. Once again, double kill for HS247. And Engage Rages on triple kill for HS247 as Gruff also takes a spill. And that Phoenix is going to be taken down. They can end here. Legacy taking game 1 from Avant.
Rob Diggity takes a lot of damage from Shredder. HS gets himself an unofficial quadra kill there. Titan falls down. Legacy takes the game. And Avant suffer their first loss since LAN.
Going into this game, I didn't think that was going to happen, but after seeing the first 5 minutes of this game, I said Legacy look good. They look like they're a cohesive unit once again. And who knows, the role swap could be the massive factor that was needed, the massive kick up the backside that Legacy needed to make sure that they could be competitive once again. It's an unreal performance coming out for them. Can they replicate it in game 2? That is the question.
Certainly is. I know during the off-season that Legacy have been putting a lot of work into the issues that they suffered at LAN with. It definitely looks as if this week it's paid off. Last week I thought, Legacy, this is what we saw at LAN. This is not good at all from them when they went up against Team Pandemonium. Now though, against Avant Garde, definitely showing up. We're going to have to take a quick break here, guys, and we'll be back with picks and bans for game number 2 between Legacy Esports and Avant Garde.